We are starting the second session of the program. Shika Mataji will be the MC for the second session. Hare Krishna, Shika Mataji.
Can you hear me okay, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees, we are going to start chapter 10, the opulence of absolute. So we will have Ananya and Samanvita chant the Sanskrit shlokas for us. Over to you, Ananya.
Thank you, Mataji. Shri Bhagavanuvach भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रियमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया नामे विदुसुरगान प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षिणं च सर्वशः यो मामजमनादिं च वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम् असमुद्धा समार्तेषु सर्वपापप्रमुच्यते बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमाशमः सुखं दुःखं भवो भावो भायं च भयम् एव च अहिंसा समता तुष्टिस्तापोधानं यशो यशः भवन्ति भावभूतानां मत एव पृथग्विद्धः महर्षयः सप्त पूर्वे चत्वारो मनवस्तथा मद्भावा मानसजाता येषां लोक इमा प्रजः एतां विभूतिं योगं च मामयो वेति तत्त्वतः सोऽविकल्पेन योगेन युज्यते नात्र संशयः अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो माता सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां भूतभावसमन्वितः मच्चित्त मद्गतप्राण बोधयन्त परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयन्ति ते तेषाम् एवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नशयाम्यात्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा अशितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे सर्वम् एतद्धृतं मन्ये यन्मां वादासि केशव न हि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देव न धन्वः स्वयम् एवात्मनात्मानं वेत्तत्वं पुरुषोत्तमा भूतभावनभूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्यह्यात्मा विभूतया याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिं त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयान् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तारेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूय कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतं श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्तते कथयायिष्यामि दिव्यह्यात्मविभूतया प्रादयन्त कुरु श्रेष्ठ नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहम् आत्मा गुडकेश सर्वभूतशया स्थितः अहम् आदिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च आदित्यानामहं विष्णुज्योतिषां राविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुताम् अस्मि नक्षत्राणाम् अहं शशि.
Thank you, Ananya. We will now have Samanvita chant from 22 onwards.
वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुशिखरिणामहं पुरोदशां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्मेघमक्षरं यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैश्रवसमस्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामदक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणामर्यमाश्चास्मि यमाः संयमतामहं प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालाः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां पवनः पवतामस्मि रामः शस्त्रभृतामहं यशानां मखरश्चास्मि श्रोतसामस्मि जाह्नवी सर्गाणामादिरन्तश्च मद्यं चैवाहमर्जुन आध्यात्मविद्यानां वादः प्रवदतामहम् अक्षराणामकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः सामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयः कालः दाताहं विश्वतोमुखः मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यतां कीर्तिर्षेर्वाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः द्यूतं चलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्ववतामहं वृष्णीनां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जयः मुनीनामप्यहं व्यासः कवीनामुशना कविः दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जगीषितां मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहं यच्छापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहमर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत्स्यान् मया भूतां चराचरं नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतेनां परन्तप एच्छातुजेष ततः प्रोक्तः विभूतैर्विस्तरो मया यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमतूर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम् अथवा बहुनैतेन किं तं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्।
Thank you, Samanvita. We will now have Purnmasi Mataji do the English recitation for chapter 10, followed by Ashmita.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation for chapter 10. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna. Because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. The 7 great sages, and before them, the 4 other great sages and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest." All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am moon." Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind, and in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am the fire, Agni, and of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brahaspati. Of general, I am the Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrata. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Of horses, know me to be Ucheshriva, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am the Kandharpa, the god of love, and of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the many-hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind, and of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark, and of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns, I am in the Samaveda, I am Brahadsama. And of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Mrigashira, November to December. And of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Usana. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashmita. Very nicely done. Now we will have Prashant Prabhu and Samanvita recite the shlokas for chapter 11. Over to you, Prashant Prabhu.
Devotees. Arjuna uvacha mad anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma samhnitam yatva yoktam vachastena mohoyam vigato mama pavapyayo hi bhutanam shrutam vistarasho maya vatta kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam evam edatyatattvatam atmanam parameshvara drashtum ichchami te rupam aishvaram purushottama manyase yadi tacchakyam maya drishtam iti prabho योगेश्वरत्ततो मे त्वं दर्शयात्मानम् अव्ययम् श्रीभगवान् उवाच पश्यामि पार्थरूपाणि शतशोथसहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णाकृतीनि च पश्यादित्यान् वसून् रुद्रान् अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा बहून्यदृष्टपूर्वाणि पश्यश्चर्याणि भारत इहैकस्तं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्य सचराचरम् मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्चान्यद्द्रष्टुमिच्छसि न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्यामे योगमैश्वरम् सञ्जय उवाच एवम् उक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्श्याम् आसभार्ताय परमं रूपमैश्वरम् अनेकवक्त्रानयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम्,   अनेकदिव्याभरणम्, अनेकदिव्याभरणं दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधं दिव्यामालाम्बरधरं दिव्यागन्धानुलेपनं सर्वाश्चर्यामयं देवम् अन्तं विश्वतोमुखम् दिवि सूर्यासहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपाद् उत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भाहास्तस्य महात्मनः तथा विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरो मादनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिरभाषत अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवं तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्माणम् ईशं कमलासनस्थं ऋषींश्च सर्वान् उरगांश्च दिव्यान् अनेकबाहुधरवक्त्रनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपं नान्तं नामद्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूपा किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तं पश्यामि त्वं निरीक्ष्यं समन्तद् दीप्तानलर्कद्युतिम् अप्रमेयम् त्वम् अक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यं त्वम् अस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् त्वम् अव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगोप्त सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मतो मे अनादिमध्यान्तम् अनन्तवीर्यम् अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रम् पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुतसा वक्त्रम् स्वातेजसा विश्वम् इदं तपन्तम् द्यावा पृथिव्योरिदम् अन्तरं हि द्या पृथिव्योरिदम् अन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वाः दृष्ट्वा भूतं रूपम् उग्रं तवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रयाति तां महात्मन् अमीहि त्वां सुरासङ्गा विशन्ति केचिद्भीता प्राञ्जलयो गणति स्वस्तियुक्त्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्घाः स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः रुद्रादित्या वसवो ये च सद्यः विश्वेस्मिनो मरुतश्चोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घा वीक्षन्ते त्वां विस्मिताश्चैव सर्वे रूपं महत्ते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रं महाबाहो बहुबाहुरुपादं बहुतरं बहुदंस्त्रकारलं दृष्ट्वा लोका प्रव्यतितास्तताहम्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prashant Prabhu. Now we will have Jia recite from Shloka verse 24. Over to you, Jia.
Hare Krishna. नभस्पृशं दीप्तनेकवर्णं व्यातननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रं दृष्टहि त्वं प्रवत्रिनाद्रेदात्मा धृतं न वृन्देनं समं सविष्णु धमस्त्रकरलनि चाते मुखानि दृष्टवेव कलनालसनभानि दिशो न जने न लभे का शर्मा प्रसिद्ध देवस्य जगन निवसः अमे चेतेवं धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्रा सर्वे सह ववनीपलसङ्गये भीष्मो द्रोणासूतपुत्रस्ततस्तु साहमिद्धेयैरपि सोदमुखये वक्त्राणि ते तत्त्वमनविसन्ति दमिस्त्रकरलनि भयनङ्कनि केवेरवलगनधनस्मन्तरिस्तु सन्तिर्सन्यन्ते कुरनेतिरुमन्गये याते नदीनं भवो मुभूयवेग समुद्रम् एवाभिमुखध्वन्ति ततः त्वामि नरलोकविरविशन्ति वक्त्राणि अभिविज्वलन्ति यथा प्रपीतं ज्वलं पतङ्गः विश्वान्ति नस्तया समृद्ध वेगा तत्त्वायेन सय विसन्तलोकस्त्वापि वक्त्राणि समृद्धा वेगः लेलेयसे ग्रस्मनः स्मन्ता लोकान् सङ्ग्रहवदन्यैर्ज्वलन्भिः तेजोभिरुप्यर जगत्संग्रम्भस्येत्वोग्र प्रतपन्ति विष्णु अक्षयै मे को भवनुग्ररूपो नमोऽस्तु देवर्षि नमोऽस्तु ते देवरप्रसीदः विष्णो तम् उच्चमे भवतम् उद्यम नाहि प्रजन्यं तव प्रवृत्तिं श्रीभगवान् वाच कालोऽस्मि लोकस्य कृतप्रवृद्धो लोकं संहर्तुम् इव प्रहृति त्वं न भविष्यन्ते सर्व येवस्थिता प्रतुय अन्किषु योधा तस्मात् त्वम् उत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् भुनस्त्वः राज्यं समृद्धम् मायहेवैतन्निधात्वा पूर्वम् एव निमित्तमत्रं भवसावये साचिन् द्रोणं च भीष्म च जयद्रथं च कर्णं तत्यनम् अभियोधवीरन् मायाहत्मस्त्वं जाये वियेतिस्थ युद्धस्य जेतस्रान् सञ्जये वाच एतच्छ्रुत्वा त्वावकनं केशवसा कृत्रेञ्जल विपनाकृतिः नमस्कृत्वो भुव एव कृष्णं गद्नं भीता प्रणम्य अर्जुनवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव पितृत्वा जगत् प्रहितस्ते अनुग्रच्यते रक्ष्मी भित्तन्नि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ते च सिद्धसङ्ग्रह कस्मकेतेन न नम्रेण महात्मन् गैर्यस्ब्रह्मणोऽपि अधिकृते अनन्ते देवश्च गणविषे त्वम् अक्षरं सत् प्रमं त्वम् अधिदेव पुरुषे पूर्णस्त्वम् अस्य देवस्य परां निधनं वेत्तसि वेद्यं च परं चेदम त्वा ततं विश्वम् अनन्तरूपा वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुण शश्नक प्रजत्पतिस्त्वां प्रपतिमहश्च नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहर कृत्वा पुनश्च भूयेऽपि नमो नमस्ते नमे पृष्ठादथो प्रस्तेस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वते एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यमितविक्रमस्तं सर्वं समाप्नोषि तत्तोऽसि सरः शक्तिः मत्वा परस्भं याद्युक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे शक्तिः अजनत महिमनं ते वेदां मया प्रमदत्पनयेन वापि या च वहश्रुतम् अस्तकृतोऽसि विहारशय्यसनभोजनेषु एकोऽथावापि अच्युत तात समक्षं तात केशं ये तवहम् अप्रेम्यम् पितास्य लोकस्य कर्यस्य त्वम् आसो पूजस्य गरीयायने नात्वत्समोऽस्ते अभियाधिक्त कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रेऽपि अप्रतिम्य प्रभवये तस्मात् पूर्णम्य पर्णाधिया कायं प्रसाद्ये त्वम् अहम् एष्यामिद्यां पित्वा पुत्रस्य सखद्वेव सखयु पीर्यापीर्ययर्ष देवसोदम् अद्रस्य पूर्वं हीर्तसीं दृष्ट्वा भायने च प्रवर्तिमानो मे तदेव दर्शो देवरूपं पर्षेद देवस जगनो निविश कृत्तिनम गदिनं कक्रहस्तम् इचिदमि त्वं द्रष्टम् अहं तत्त्वे तेन वेरूपने कातृभुजिने सहस्रभवो भय विश्वामूर्ते श्रीभगवान् वाच मायापर्शेन तत्त्वतु जनितं रूपं परं दृष्टम् अत्वं योगत् तेजोमयं विश्वमनन्तम् आद्यं यन्मे त्वाद् अनेन तद्द्रष्टपूर्वम् Hare Krishna.
Very nicely done, Jia. Thank you. Now we will have Samanvita chant rest of the shlokas in chapter 11.
न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपः शक्य अहं लोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन न न दृष्टपूर्वं न माते व्यतामा च विमूढभावः दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरमिदृन्ममेदं व्यपेतविह्वृतमनः पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रपश्य सञ्जय उवाच इत्यर्जुनं वासुदेवस्ततोक्त्वा स्वकं रूपं दर्शयामास भूयः आश्वासयन् आस च भीतमेनं भूत्वा पुनः सौम्यवपुर्महात्मा अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेमं मानुषं रूपं तपः सौम्यं जनार्दन इदीनम् अस्मि संवृद्धः सचेतः प्रकृतिं गतः श्रीभगवानुवाच सुदुर्दर्शमिदं रूपं दृष्टवानसि यन्मम देवाप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शिनकाङ्क्षिणः नाहं वेदैर्न तपसा न दानेन न चार्जया शक्य एवंविदो दृष्टवानसि मां यथा भक्त्या त्वनन्यया सख्या अहमेवं विधोऽर्जुन ज्ञातुं द्रष्टुं च तत्त्वेन प्रवेष्टुं च परन्तप मत्कर्म कृन्मत्परमो मद्भक्तः सङ्गवर्जितः निर्वैरः सर्वभूतेषु यत्समामेति पाण्डव.
Thank you, Samanvita. Now we will have Meena Mataji do the English translation for chapter 12. Sorry, chapter 11.
Hare Krishna devotees. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pratha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place. But you cannot see me with your present eyes, therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine unprized weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky. Their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, a universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides, like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the external religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. All the host of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Host of great sages and perfected beings, crying all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Satyas, the Visvadevas, the two Asvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Meena Mataji. Very nicely done. And now we will have Prasanna Mataji complete the chapter 11.
Hare
English.
Krishna. I'm starting with the translation of verse 24. O all-pervading Vishnu, as I see you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing, death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I'm bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter into your blazing mouths. I see all the people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence, you manifest with terrible scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you're all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? You are the supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. After seeing this universal form, which I've never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you, by my internal potency, the supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. O best of the crew warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, "O Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and am restored to my original nature." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you're now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. The form you're seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Now we will have Dhriti recite chapter 12. And one request to all the participants today who are chanting and doing the translation, if you can also turn on your videos. This way we can also see you as well. Dhriti, over to you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
I'll be reading chapter 12, devotional service. Arjuna Vacha Evam Statata Yukta Ye Bhakta Samparyupasate Ye Chapi Aksham Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Maya Vesha Mano Evam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddha Ye Parayopetas Te me yukta tamamataha ye tva aksharam anidesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatam gamachintuncha bhutascham achalam dhruvam sanmiyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya trepa puntimameva sarvabhutha hiterataha क्लेशो दिखतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तां सक्तते तेजसाम् अव्यक्तां हि गते दुःखं देहि वाप्येरवाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येवैन योगेन मां ध्यायन्तुपासते ते समहं समुदात नृत्यसंसागसागरा भवामि नाचिरापात मय्या वेशितचेतसां मयि एव मना आदिष्ठ मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय नैवश्यसि मयि एव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशय अथ चित्तं समादातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासे योगेन ततो मामिच्छातुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽपि असमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि पूर्वं सेव्यमवाप्स्यसि अथ इतरपि अक्षोषि कर्तुम् योग आश्रिताः सर्वकर्मफले त्यागं तकुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यास ज्ञानध्यान विशिष्यते त्यागकर्मफले त्यागच्छान्तिरनन्तरम् आदिष्ट्वा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रीकरणमेव च निर्मो निरहङ्कार समदुःखसुखक्षमे सन्तो सततं योगी तदात्मा दृढनिश्चया माम् अर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकानो द्विजते च या हर्षमर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तये सं च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षा सुखीर्दाक्ष उदासीनो गताविताः सर्वारम्भं परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेषि न शोषशी न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभा परित्यागी भक्तिमां ये या समे प्रियाः समशत्रुच्च मित्रे च तथा मानोपमानयो शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जिताः तुलनित्या स्तुत्यमानो सन्तोषेण केनचित् अनिकेन्तश्चितीर्मानं भक्तिमां मे प्रियो नराः ये तु धर्मार्थमिदं यक्तोत्मा पर्युपासते श्रद्धावां मत्परमा भक्तास्ते ते मे प्रियाः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवेदे भक्तियोगो नाम द्वादशोऽध्यायः. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhriti. Now we will request Nitya Kishori Mataji to please unmute your voice and then also turn on your video. And Mataji will do the translation for chapter 12.
Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, or by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always, without a doubt. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think of himself as a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. He, by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nitya Kishori Mataji. Now we will have Sri Devi Prasanna Mataji do the recitation for chapter 13. Mataji, if you can unmute yourself and turn on your video, please.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Chapter
Krishna.
13. Nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. Arjuna Vacha Prakritim Purusham Shaiva Kshetram Kshetraknam Eva Cha Etat Veditumichami Jnanam Neyam Sakechava. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Idi Abhidiyate Etadyo Vettitam Prahu Kshetrakna Iti Tadvitaha. क्षेत्रज्ञां चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यद्रक्ष यद्विकारी यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समसेन मे शृणु ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छान्दोभिर्विविधा पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रापादैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितः महाभूतानि अहङ्कारो बुद्धिरव्यक्तम् एव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचरा इच्छद्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्गतश्चेतना धृति एतच्क्षेत्रं सामशेन सविकारम् उदाहृतम् अमानित्वम् अदाम्बित्वम् अहिंसा शान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रह इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् अशाक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गा पुत्रधारा गृहादिषु नित्यं च सामसितत्वम् स्थानि स्तोपपातिषु मयि चनन्या योगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवितम् अरातिर्जनसंशति अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यत्तदोऽन्यथा नेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वं मृतम् अश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म नासत्तन्नाशदुच्यते सर्वथा पनिपादं तत् सर्वतोक्षि शिरोमुखं सर्वथा श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमवृत्या तिष्ठति सर्वेन्द्रियगुणभाषं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् अशक्तं सर्वभृक्षैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तश्च बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् आचारं चरम् एव च सूक्ष्मत्वत् तद् अविज्ञेयं दुरास्थितं शङ्किके च यत् अविभक्तं स भूतेषु विभक्तम् इव च स्थितं भूतावृत्तिर्तज्ज्ञेयं गृह्षिष्णु प्रभुविष्णु च ज्योतिषमपि तच् ज्योतिस्तमसा परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समस्तसता मद्भक्ता एतद्विज्ञाय मद्भावयोपपद्यते प्रकृतिं पुरुषं शैव विद्धि अनादि उभवपि विक्रमश्च गुणं शैव विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान् कार्यकारेण कर्तृत्वे हेतुप्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तैर्व हेतुरुच्यते पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्तोति भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजन्गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोष्य सदसद्योनिजन्मषु उपादृष्टानुमन्त च भार्तभोक्ता महेश्वर परमात्मेनि चापि युक्तो देहिस्मिन् पुरुषः परा य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न च भूयोऽपि अभिजायते धियनेनैन मणि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मनमात्मना अन्ये शङ्केन योगेन कर्मयोगेन शापरे अन्ये त्विएवम् अजानन्ता श्रुतो वन्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि च तित्थारन्ति एव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणा यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्तभरजङ्गमं क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विधि भारत ऋषभ समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठान्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्यत्स्व अविनाश्यन्तं य पश्यति स पश्यति समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समावस्थितम् ईश्वरं न हिनश्री आत्मनात्मानं ततो यति परं गतिम् प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वश य पश्यति तहात्मानम् अकर्तरं स पश्यति यदा भूता पृथग्भावम् एकस्तम् अनुपश्यति तथा एव च विस्तारं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तथा अनादित्वा निर्गुणात्वात् परमात्मयम् अव्यय शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्याद् आकाशं नोपलीयते सर्वत्राशितो देहे तथात्मः नोपलीयते यथा प्रकाश्यति एका कृष्णं लोकम् इमं रवि क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृष्णं प्रकाशति भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषो भूता प्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यन्ति ते परम् Chaitanya will recite. Tell the translation.
Thank you, Mataji. Chaitanya. You can see my screen, Chaitanya?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Arjuna said, wait a minute. Okay. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. O Skyana of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower of all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity. What it charges, what its changes are, whence it's produced, and who is the knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is expressly presented in Veda Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. The five great elements, false ego, intelligent, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the five senses objects, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, and the aggregate, delight, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Humanity, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil, birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom of entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even mildness, and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. I shall now explain the knowable knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit beginningness and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the Supersoul exists, pervading everything. The Supersoul is the original source of all senses. Yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer for all living beings. He transcends the mode of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. The Supreme Truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses to see or know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Although the Super Soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. The transformations and the modes of matter are products of the material nature. Nature said that by the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. The living entity in material nature thus follows the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with the good and evil among the various species. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permeator, and who is known as the Supersoul. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction in the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Some perceive the Supersoul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without furtive desires. Again, there are those who, although not conservant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing him about from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend in the path of birth and death. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whenever you see in whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. One who sees the Supersoul accompanying the individual souls in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the Supersoul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. One who sees the Supersoul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body which is created of material nature and sees that the self does nothing actually sees. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains the Brahman conception. Those with a vision of eternity can see the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul is neither does anything nor is entangled. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. O son of Bharata, The sun alone illuminates all the universe. So does the living entity. One within the body illuminates the entire body by consciousness. Those who see with the eyes of knowledge and the difference between the body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain the supreme goal.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Now we will have Rani Mataji do the chanting for chapter 14. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavan Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yagyatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhimito Gataha Idam Jnanamupashritya Mama Sadharmyamagataha Sargepi Nopajayante Pralayena Vyathanti Cha मम योनिर्महद्ब्रह्म तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहं सम्भवः सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः अहं बीजप्रदः पिता सत्वं रजस्तम् इति गुणा प्रकृतिसम्भवाः निबध्नानन्ति महाबाहो देहि देहि नमव्ययम् तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकम् अनामयम् सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघा रजो रागात्मकं वृद्धि तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम् तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम् तमः सत्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत सत्त्वं सुखे संजयति रजः कर्मणि भारत ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः प्रमादे संजयत्युता रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्त्वं भवति भारत रजः सत्त्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्त्वं रजस्तथा सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तथा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत लोभप्रवृत्तिरारम्भ कर्मणाशमः स्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम् सत्त्वा संजायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहोत्तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्थाः मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्ताः अध्यो गच्छन्ति तामसाः नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन् देहि देहसमुद्भवान् जन्ममृत्युजरा दुःखै विमुक्तो मृतुमश्नुते अर्जुन उवाच कैर्लिङ्गैः स्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारः कथं चैतान् त्रीन् गुणान् अतिवर्तते श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेव च पाण्डव न द्वेष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षति उदासीनवदासीन गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणावर्तन्त इत्येवं योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते समदुःखसुखस्वस्थः समलोष्टाश्म काञ्चनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीर तुल्यनिन्दात्मसंस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्य तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी गुणातीता स उच्यते माञ्चयो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्य व्यवस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्य एकान्तिकस्य च हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji. Now we will have Veena Mataji do the English translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
The three modes of material nature. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again, I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is the Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitative actions. O son of Bharata, note that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is a delusion of all the embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. This was very nicely done. And now I'm going to pass the MC role to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. I'll share my screen. So next we have chapter 15. Suvarna Manjari Mataji is going to recite the translation verses. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Rahul. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shri Purushottam Yoga Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulam Adha Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedaved Adhaschurdhvam prasritastasya shakha guna pravriddha vishaya pravala adhascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate Nanto na chadir cha sampratishtha ashwatthaменam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dridena chitva tatta padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यत् प्रवृत्ति प्रसृता पुराणी निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्य
नित्या विनिवृत्तकामा द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्तमूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावक यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मनःशस्तानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रामतीश्वर गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयत् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढनानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अविष्ठं यतन्तोऽपि यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतस यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रांसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहमोजस पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्व सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैष्णवरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राणपानसमायुक्ता पचामि अन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृतवेद्विदेव चाहम् द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमा पुरुषस्त्वन्यै परमात्मेति उदारता यो लोकत्रयम् आविश्य बिभर्ति अव्यय ईश्वर यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षराद् अपि चोत्तम अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतिता पुरुषोत्तम यो माम् एवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यात्तमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत.
Thank you, Mataji. That was very beautiful. Now, Anika and Rahul Prabhu will read the translations.
Rahul, Anika's. She's going to do the first 10 verses.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. That supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. The living entity thus takes another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this.
Thank you, Anika. Next, Rahul Prabhu is going to read the remaining translations. Rahul Prabhu needs to be unmuted. Hare Krishna.
The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. I am the fire of digestion in bodies of all living entities. And I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am also knower of the Vedas. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the super soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible. And because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is knower of everything. He is therefore engaged himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. This is the most confidential part of Vedic scripture, O sinless one, and is disclosed by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Next is chapter 16. Shweta Mataji and Karthik are going to recite the verses.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vivasthiti Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastaka Arjavam Ahimsa Satyamakrodha Tyagah Shantirapeshunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luptvam Madhavam Veera Chapalam तेजक्षमाधृति शौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं देवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीम् देवी सम्पद्हि मोक्षाय निबन्धाय श्रीमता माशुच सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव वो भूत सर्वलोकेऽस्मिन् देव आसुर एव च देवो विस्तरश्य प्रोक्तः आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु प्रवृत्तिं च न वृत्तिं च जनाना विदुरासुरः न शौचं नापि चाचारो न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते असत्यम् अप्रतिष्ठं ते जगत् आहुरनीश्वरम् अपरस्पर सम्भूतं किमन्यत् कामहेतुकम् एतां दृष्टिम् अवष्टभ्य नष्टात्मनोऽल्पबुद्धय प्रभवन्ति उग्रकर्मणः क्षया जगतो हिता कामम् आश्रित्य दुष्पूरां दम्भमानमदान्वितः मोहद्गृहत्वसद्ग्रहान् प्रवर्तन्ते शुचिव्रता चिन्ताम् अपरिमेयं च प्रलयम् उपाश्रितः कामोपभोगपरमा एतावदिति निश्चिता आशापाशशतैर्बद्धा कामक्रोधपरायणः इहन्ते कामभोगार्थम् अन्यायेन संशयान्
इदम् अद्य मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्यसे मनोरथम् इदम् अस्तीदमपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम् असौ मया हतः शत्रुर् अनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढयो विजन्वानस्मि कौन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्य इत्यज्ञानविमोहिताः अनेकचित्तविभ्रान्ता मोहजालसमावृताः प्रसक्ता कामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरकेषु च आत्मसम्भाविताः स्तब्धा धनमानमदान्विताः यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम् अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः माम आत्मपरदेहेषु प्रद्विषन्तोऽभ्यसूयकाः तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपाम्य अजस्रम् अश्रुभान् आसुरिष्व एव योनिषु आसुरीं योनिमापन्ना मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि मामप्राप्येव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम् त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं द्वारं नाशनात्मन कामक्रोधस्तथा लोभस्तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत् एतर्विमुक्त कौन्तेय तमोद्वारे स्त्रिभिर्नर आचारत्य आत्मनः श्रेयस्ततो याति परां गतिम् यः शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिम् अवाप्नोति न सुखं न परां गतिम् तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितो ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुम् इहारसि ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे दैवासुरसम्पद्विभागयोगो नाम षोडशोऽध्यायः श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Translations. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy, and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pratha. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, you are born with divine qualities. O son of Pratha, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of demoniac. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride, false prestige, and the demoniac thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. They secure money by illegal means of sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future, more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him. and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules and regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies, in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization, and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. He who disregards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty, what is not duty, by regulations of scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nitish Prabhu, Shweta Mataji, and Karthik. Now we will move on to the next chapter. Shantala and Sandhya will recite the verses, and Nagashri Mataji will read the translations of chapter 17.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna uvacha ye shastravidam yajante shadayanvita tesham nishta tu ka Krishna sattva rajastamaha. Shri Bhagavan uvacha trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam sasvabhavaja sadviki rajasi chaiva tamase chetitam shunu सत्त्वनुरूप सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो यक्षद्धा स एव सः यजन्ते सात्विका देवान् यक्षरक्षांसि राजसः प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्च ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः अशस्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपोजनः दम्भाहङ्कारसंयुक्ता कामरागबलान्विता कर्षयन्त शरीरस्थं भूतग्राममचेतसः मां चैवयन्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्याशुरनिश्चयः आहारस्तभ्य सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रियः यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां वेदमिमं शृणु आयुसत्त्वबलारोग्य सुखप्रीतिविवर्धनः रस्य स्निग्धस्थिरहृद्या आहारा सात्विका प्रिया कट्वं ललवनात्युष्णा तीक्ष्णवृक्षविदाहिनः आहारा राजसस्यस्ता दुःखशोकमायप्रदा यत्यमगतरस्यं पूतिपर्युषितं च यत् उष्टिस्तमपि च मेदं भोजनं तमसं प्रियम् अपलकंशिभिर्यज्ञो विद्धिदिष्ट्यो य इच्छते यष्टव्यमेव तिमन सामदय सद्विका अभिसन्दयतु पालं दम्भरतम् अपि चैव यत् युज्यते भरते शस्ता तां यज्ञं विधिरजसं विधिहीनम् अशास्त्राणां मन्त्रहीनम् अध्यक्षिणं श्रद्धाविरुद्धं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते देवादिजि गुरुप्रज्ञा पूजनं शौचम् अर्जवं ब्रह्मचार्यमहिंसं च शरीरं तप उच्यते. Hare Krishna. अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते मनःप्रसादः सौम्यक्तं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्ध इत्येतत् तपो मानसमुच्यते श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परचक्षते सत्कर्मानपूजर्थं तपोधम्येन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडय क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तमसमुदाहृतम् दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशकाले च पत्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम् यत् प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतम् अदृश्यकाले यद्दानम् आपत्रेभ्यश्च दीयते आसत्कृतम् अन्यतं तत्तमसम् उदाहृतम् ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशो ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्रह्मणस्तेन वेदश्च याजनश्च विधिः पुरा तस्मादोमिति उद्धृत्य यागनादानतपक्रिया प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ता स्तात ब्रह्मवदीनम् ततति अनभिसन्ध्य बालं याज्ञतपक्रियः दानक्रियश्च विविधा क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः सद्भावे साधुभावे च साधते प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा साक्षात् प्रयुज्यते यज्ञतपसि दाने च स्थितिः साधिति कोच्यते कर्म चैव तदर्थीयं साधति एव विधीयते अर्षध्याहुतं दत्तं तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत् आसदिति उच्यते पता न च तत्प्रयत्नो इह Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That was very wonderful recitation, Shantala and Sandhya. Now Nagashri Mataji is going to read the translations.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now, hear about this. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of particular faith according to the modes of he has acquired. Men in mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in mode of passion worship the demons, and those in mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, austerities, and charity. Now, here of the distinctions between them. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remains and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of Scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is one of the nature of goodness. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scriptures, without distribution of prasadam, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of supreme is called austerity in goodness. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. Penance performed out of foolishness with self torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Charity given out of duty, without expectation of return, at the proper time and place unto a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. But charity performed with expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. And charity performed
at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om, Tat, Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with the spiritual regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with a word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. The absolute truth is objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance and charity which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pratha, Parth, O son of Parth. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Prath, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Next is chapter 18, and this is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita. After the chapter, Jai Subhadra Mataji is going to give us the summary from chapter 10 to chapter 18. Prabhakaran Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna uvacha Sanyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditum Tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratakkeshi nishuddhana Shri Bhagavan uvacha Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyasam kavayo vidhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vikakshanaha Tyajyam dosavad iti eke karma prahur manisinaha yajna dana tapa karma nyatyajyam iti chapare Nischayam srunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama tyago hi purusha vyagra trividaha samprakirtitaha yajna dana tapa karma nyatyajyam karyam eva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam etani apitu karmani sangam tyatva phalaini cha कर्तव्यांति नीति में पार्ता निश्चितम मतम उत्तमम नियतस्य तु संन्यासा कर्मणो नो पापद्यते मोहतस्य परित्यगास् तमसा परिकीर्तितः दुःखम इति एव यत् कर्म काय क्लेशा भयत् त्यजेत् सकृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्याग फलं लभेत् कार्यम इति एव यत् कर्म नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन संगम त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव स त्यागः सात्विको मतः न द्वेष्टि अकुशलं कर्म कुशले नानुसज्जते त्यागी सत्त्व समाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः न हि देह भरता साख्यं त्याक्तुं कर्मणि असेतसः यस्तु कर्म फलत्यागी सत्यागिति अभिधीयते अनिष्टम इष्टम मिश्रम च त्रिविधं कर्मणा फलं भवति अत्यग्हीनं प्रत्य न तु संन्यासं क्वचित् पंचैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कीर्तने प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणम् अधिष्ठानं तत कर्ता कारणं च पृथग्विधं विविधाश्च पृथक् दैवं चैवत्र प्रपञ्चनम् शरीरावान् मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभाते नरः न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चिते तस्य हेतवः तत्र इवं सति कर्तरम् आत्मनं केवलं तु या पश्यति अकृतबुद्धित्वान् नाश्य पश्यति दुर्मतिः यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वपि स इमं लोकन् नाहन्ति न निबध्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविध कर्म कोदना कारणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदता प्रोच्यते गुणसंख्यने यथावत् शृणुतनि अपि सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावम् अव्ययं च ईक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु ताज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम् पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं ज्ञान्यभावन् पृथग्विदन् वेट्टि सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम् यत्र कृष्णविद् एकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतद्व्रतवद् अल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदार्थम् ज्ञातं संगरहितं रागद्वेषतः कृतम् अपलाप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकम् उच्यते यत्तु कमे पुषणा कर्म सहनकरेण व्यापुनः क्रियते बहुलायसं तद् राजसम् उदार्थम् अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसम् अनपेक्ष्य परुरुषं मोहद् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्तत् तामसम् उच्यते मुक्तसंगो नहंवादी धृति उतसः समन्वितः सिद्धि असिद्ध्योर् निर्विकारा कार्त सात्विक उच्यते चायते. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Now Mittal Mataji is going to recite from verse 27. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Ragi karma phala prepsur lupto hinsatmako shruchi harsha shokanvita karta rajasa parikirtita आयुक्त प्राकृत स्तब्ध शठो नैष्कृतिकोलस विषादि दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते बुद्धिर्भेदं धृतिश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानाम् अशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्यकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धि सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धि सा पार्थ राजसी अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धि सा पार्थ तामसी धृत्या यया धारयते मना प्राणेन्द्रियक्रिया योगेन व्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसङ्गेन फलाकाङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासात् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यत्तत् अग्रे विषम् इव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मा बुद्धिप्रसादजम् विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तत् अग्ने मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषम् इव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम् यद् अग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मना निन्द्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तमसम् उदारितम् न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तं यद् एभिस्यत्रिभिर्गुणैः ब्रह्मण क्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः शमोदमस्तपश्चौचं क्षान्तिराजर्वमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञाम आसक्त्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम् शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्य पलायनं दानमीश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम् कृषिगोरक्षवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजम् परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम् स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरत संसिद्धिं लभते नर स्वकर्मनिरत सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु यत प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभश्चर्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानव श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभवनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषमपि न त्यजेत् सर्वरम्भा हि दोषेण धूमेनाग्निरिवावृता असक्तबुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मावगतस्पृह नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां सनन्यासेद निगच्छति सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निमोद मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा बुद्धया विशुद्धया युक्तो धृताम्यानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषे व्युदस्य च विविक्तसेवी लघ्वाशी यत वाक्कायमानस ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रित Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. Now Amit Prabhu will recite the rest of the verses.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्। भक्त्या माम् अभिजानाति यावान् यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः, ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तद् अनन्तरम्। सर्वकर्माण्य अपि सदा कुर्वाणो मद्व्यपाश्रयः, मत्प्रसादाद् अवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम्। चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः, बुद्धियोगम् उपाश्रित्य मच्चित्त सततं भव। मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि, अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान् न श्रोष्यसि विनङ्क्षसि। यद् अहङ्कारम् आश्रित्य न योत्स्य इति मन्यसे, मिथ्यैष व्यवसायास्ते प्रकृतिस्त्वां नियोक्ष्यति। स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबद्ध स्वेन कर्मणा, कर्तुं नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य अवशोऽपि तत्। ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशे अर्जुन तिष्ठति, भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया। तम् एव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत, तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्। इति ते ज्ञानम् आख्यातं गुह्याद् गुह्यतरं मया, विमृश्यैताद् अशेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु। सर्वगुह्यात्मनं भूयः शृणु मे परमं वचः, इष्टोऽसेमि दृढम् इति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्। मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु, माम् एवैष्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज, अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः। इदं ते नातपक्षाय नाभक्ताय कदाचन, नाचाशुश्रूषवे वाच्यं न च मां यो अभ्यासूयति। य इदं परमं गुह्यं मद्भक्तेष्व अभिधास्यति, भक्तिं मयि परां कृत्वा माम् एवैष्यते असंशयः। न च तस्मान्मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः, भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि। अध्येष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यं संवादम् अव्वायोः, ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टः स्याम् इति मे मतिः। श्रद्धावान् अनसूयाश्च शृणुयाद् अपि यो नरः, सोऽपि मुक्तशुभाल्लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणां। कच्चिद् एतत् श्रुतं पार्थ त्वयैकाग्रेण चेतसा, कच्चित् अज्ञानसम्मोह प्रणष्टस्ते धनञ्जय। अर्जुन उवाच नष्टो मोहस्मृतिर्लब्धा त्वत्प्रसादान्मयाच्युत, स्थितोऽस्मि गतिसन्देह करिष्ये वचनं तव। सञ्जय उवाच इत्यहं वासुदेवास्य पार्थास्य च महात्मनः, संवादम् इमम् अश्रौषम् अद्भुतं रोमहर्षणम्। व्यासप्रसादात् श्रुतवान् एतद् गुह्यम् अहं परं, योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् कथायतः स्वयं। राजान् संस्मृत्य संवादाम् इमम् अद्भुतं, केशवार्जुनयोः पुण्यं ऋषयामि च मुहुर्मुहुः तच्च संस्मृत्य संस्मृत्य रूपम् अत्य अद्भुतं हरे विस्मयो मे महान् राजन् ऋषयामि च पुनः पुनः यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Now we will read the chapter 18 translation. First we have Shri Devi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Chapter 18, Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, Sannyasa. O killer of the KC demon, master of the senses, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyasa, and giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Partha. That is my final opinion. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the three constituents of action. According to the three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. That knowledge by which one undivided material spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all without knowledge of the truth and which is very meager is said to be in the mode of darkness. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. Now we have Arya who will be reading the rest of the translations till verse 52. Arya, are you there? Hare Krishna Arya, you can start now. We are not able to hear you, Arya.
Sujit Prabhu? Oh, yes, they are on now, I think.
Yeah, they are unmuted, but we're not able to hear.
Yeah, Sujit Prabhu? We are not able to hear you, Prabhuji.
There must be an audio issue.
Not yet, Arya.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating is in the mode of goodness. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion, irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of the goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such an intelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. O best of Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness which by the conditioned souls enjoy, and by which sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may just be like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be in the nature of passion. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from the beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be the mode of ignorance. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is freed from these three modes of born material nature. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures, in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the national qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cow protection, and business are natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Sudras there are labor and service to the others. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of faults. One who is self-controlled, unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Being purified in his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization.
Thank you very much, Arya. Now, Amrita Mataji will complete the verses.
Hare Krishna devotees. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman, and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kind of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material nature. Ocean of Bharta, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and the eternal abode. Thus, I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is your benefit. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in the world more dear to me than he, nor there will be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies the sacred conversation of our worships me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attain to the auspicious planet where the pious dwell. O son of Partha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Sanjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on the end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, As I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mysteries, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and mortality. That is my opinion. Morality, that is my opinion.
Thank you very much, Mataji. With that, we have completed the recitation of the entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, both verses and the translation. Now, Jai Subhadra Mataji will give the summary of chapter 10 to chapter 18. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna devotees. It was wonderful recitation and translation, reading of the translation. So Satyasara did the first 9 chapters summary, and then we are continuing from 10 to 18, as Mataji mentioned. So chapter 10 is titled The Opulence of the Absolute, and in the 9th chapter, Krishna advised Arjuna how to become his devotee. Chapter 10 actually, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna how one can become a devotee. So Krishna said in chapter 9, please become my devotee, or, become my devotee. But now in chapter 10, he's advising how to become, how to part. And Krishna also explains to Arjuna his specific opulences, which are manifested throughout, his pervasive energies. Krishna begins by asserting that those who are wise, knowing him as the Supreme Lord and the original source of everything, including demigods, all qualities, etc., are freed from all reactions to sins, and such devotees engage in his loving service. So that is the essence of the Chaturshloki verses, because Krishna speaks those verses in this chapter, which cover the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita in those 4 verses 10.8 through 10.11. Krishna is describing his position as the Supreme Lord, the source of everything, and how he gives intelligence to his devotees, how he reciprocates with his devotees, and how he provides the knowledge and intelligence to his devotees by which they can go back to him. So Arjuna, after having heard all these things, he declares his acceptance of Krishna as the supreme absolute truth. And also not only that, and everything that Krishna has instructed him so far till this point in this 10th chapter. Arjuna then asked Krishna that how should one think of him, Krishna, and Krishna then devotes the rest of the chapter by answering this question. He says that he can be perceived in the best and most powerful of everything that is in the creation. For example, just to give few examples, he says, among stars, he is the moon. Among the fish, he is the shark, and so forth. So after listing down so many comparisons, so many of his opulences like this, Krishna reminds Arjuna of that all these wondrous phenomena manifesting as great power, beauty, grandeur in the material world are simply a fragmental manifestation of his divine energy and opulence. It's just a fragmental manifestation of his opulences. And in the final verse of the chapter, Krishna says that more important than knowledge of these separate opulences is the understanding that this and all things that exist are due to his entering into them as the super soul, as Paramatma. And by entering into everything as Paramatma, as the super soul, he pervades and supports the entire universe, entire creation. So that is the gist of chapter 10. Then chapter 11 is the universal form, the Vishwarupa, the Virat form of the Lord, where Krishna is showing his the big, massive form, which encompasses everything that exists in the material world, material creation. And the chapter begins with Arjuna's declaration that after hearing, the confidential instructions in the previous several chapters, he has now been freed from illusion. But Arjuna is still asking Krishna to show, can you please show me the universal form? And it is made clear if we read the purports of the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that it is not that Arjuna wanted to be convinced further of Krishna's supremacy or Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. He has already been convinced, he already knows Krishna's position as the supreme Lord. He wanted Arjuna on behalf of us as the conditioned souls, because we may have questions of Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord. So one may question. So he wanted to substantiate Krishna's statements that he's the source of everything, so forth, that he had already made in previous chapters. Please show the universal form. So in future, if somebody asks or somebody claims to be God, then one can say, okay, please show me your universal form, as Krishna did. Krishna just did not make empty statements. He substantiated and he proved his statements by showing the universal form. So that was the basis of Arjuna asking Krishna about his universal form. And Krishna says that with your eyes you cannot. I have to give you special divine vision to see it. And Arjuna, gets to see the universal form, and that is very majestic form. And at the same time, Arjuna is describing in this chapter what he feels. He feels fear and he's struck by wonder at the same time, because he has never seen something like this. If you can imagine sitting in one place, seeing past, present, and future, and seeing everything that exists in the whole creation, just sitting in one place. It's overwhelming. Then Arjuna is asking Krishna, please show me your four-handed form. Before that, Krishna also informs Arjuna that, having shown him past, present, and future, he wants to tell Arjuna that, see, everybody on the battlefield will be slain except for you 5 Pandavas. So whether you want to act as an instrument, you act as an instrument for me to execute my plan. Even if you don't, want to fight, they are already going to be killed, regardless of whether you fight or not. So then the next part is where Arjuna is asking, he cannot take the form anymore. He's saying, please come back to your four-handed form, and then to your two-handed form. So there is also a reason why Arjuna is asking for Krishna to come show his four-handed form and not just directly two-handed form, the Shyam Sundar form. The four-handed form is to prove that Narayan comes from Krishna, not the other way. So a devotee is not actually, devotee like Arjuna or devotees are not interested in seeing the universal form, as it does not enable one to reciprocate loving feelings. Universal form is multiple eyes and numerous heads and so forth. So Krishna, by showing his, universal form, four-handed form, and finally two-handed form, declares that his transcendental human-like form is the form by which one can directly understand him through pure devotional service. And that is the highest form of worship. Then chapter 12, which is titled Devotional Service, is the conclusion of the middle set of chapters. 7 through 12 is Bhakti Yoga. So chapter 12 being the last chapter of the Bhakti Yoga section, it gives a conclusion. In this chapter, Krishna clearly emphasizes bhakti, especially because he just showed his universal form, and people should not have a fear, because whoever sees the universal form would be more fearful than having love towards the Lord. So in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna is asking Krishna to state who he considers more perfect, those engaged in his devotional service or worshippers of the unmanifested Brahman, the impersonal. So is the all-pervasive feature, the impersonal feature is the all-Brahman feature, is the all-pervasive feature of the Lord. So Krishna then establishes that worship of my personal form as the supreme is the supreme mode of worship. And Arjuna is then asking questions to understand the process of devotional service in a more detailed manner. And then Krishna states that a devotee engaged in worshipping his personal form and constantly meditating on him is considered to be perfect by him. He says that worshippers of the impersonal aspect, those who worship Brahman or impersonal aspect, impersonal feature of the Lord, for them advancement is very troublesome. It's a very slow advancement on the spiritual path, and it's very troublesome. And it can be achieved. They can come to Krishna. Of course, they have to progress finally to bhakti, but it takes many, many years of practice finally to come to bhakti yoga. So basically, Krishna is telling us, don't take that path. Then Krishna also, having clarified this, he gives he's making a very practical, there are 8 through 12 verses, 8 through 12, Krishna gives the progression, very practical for the conditioned soul, because Krishna knows that it's not easy for somebody to take to bhakti yoga or take to pure devotional service immediately. Many of us or people around us, they are interested in spiritual path, but there are different levels. So how can they make progress? They cannot directly, just like one cannot learn calculus directly, one has to take baby steps. So he gives very practical steps for the conditioned soul to begin their journey towards him. And then Krishna describes the qualities of his pure devotees that endear him, that if a devotee possesses these qualities, they are very, very dear to me. Those qualities are non-enviousness, free from material desires, false ego. They have equanimity. They are free from material dualities. And they are always engaged in service, devotional service to Krishna with full faith and intelligence. And if somebody who possesses these qualities, Krishna says they are very dear to me. That ends chapter 12. Now chapter 13 through 17, because chapter 18 is basically a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 13 through 17 is, again, the final 6 chapters or 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, which are dedicated for Jnana Yoga, or knowledge, which will lead to devotional service to Krishna. So Arjuna in chapter 13 is beginning the chapter with by asking Krishna 6 questions. And Krishna is answering those 6 questions throughout the chapter. And that comprises the essence of the entire 13th chapter. The 6 principles which Arjuna would like Krishna to explain are: what is Prakriti, which is material nature? What is Purusha, who's the enjoyer? What is Kshetra, means the field of activities? What is Kshetrajna, the knower of the field? And what is Gnanam, knowledge, and the process of knowing? What is Gneya, which is the object of knowledge? So after having explained all this in detail to Arjuna, Krishna is speaking about them. And the final verses of the chapter, Krishna elaborates on the essential theme of the chapter, which is the interrelationship between matter, soul, and the super soul. How all three are connected, basically. So all actions, he says, are due to the combination of Kshetra, which is the field of activities, and Kshetrajna, the soul. The field of activity is nothing but the body, and beyond which is the super soul sitting in our heart. So the soul and the super soul both are eternal and transcendental to the body. In conclusion, Krishna declares that one in knowledge who sees the distinction between the body and soul, and who understands the process of the soul's liberation from the body, attains to the supreme goal. That is chapter 13. And chapter 14 is titled the three modes of material nature. So in chapter 13, Krishna explained that matter entangles the soul and causes it to suffer in this material world. Now in this chapter, in chapter 14, Krishna is explaining how matter exerts control over the conditioned souls through the three modes, which are nothing but mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Krishna is explaining these three modes, how they act, how they bind, and how one can be liberated from their influence in this chapter. That the three modes of material nature, they condition, say, mode of goodness conditions one's, it frees us from the sinful reaction, because one is in mode of goodness, knows what is right, what is wrong, follows the scriptures to most of the certain extent, pretty much abides by the scripture, but in the process becomes conditioned by the sense of feeling of happiness and knowledge. I'm a good person, I'm a good family person because I'm following everything, I'm satisfied. One becomes complacent to make further progress. So even mode of goodness is binding, but it is very conducive to make spiritual progress. It is a stepping stone. Mode of passion, on the other hand, is filled with unlimited desires, longings. It binds one to material um, fruitive actions. And mode of ignorance is, of course, it binds the conditioned soul with laziness, sleep, madness, indolence, and all that. Krishna then describes the destination of different conditioned living entities at death in different modes. One who dies in mode of ignorance, what happens to them, what is their destination, what is the destination of one who lives the body in mode of passion and goodness. When one understands that the activity is performed by the modes of material nature and no one else, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to the three modes, one is considered to have transcended the three modes and can become free from the birth, old age, death, and distress. Then also Arjuna is asking how to recognize such a person who has transcended the modes in this chapter, 14th chapter. And Krishna is explaining the symptoms and behavior of such a person. And Krishna again says in the final verse, it's a very important verse towards the end of chapter 14. Krishna declares that he is the basis or the source of Brahman. So again, like just in chapter 11, Krishna is, or Arjuna wanted Krishna to show his four-handed form and set the criteria and set it straight that Krishna is the source of the four-handed form of Vishnu or Narayan. Similarly, here Krishna himself, he's saying, I am the basis of Brahman. Means Brahman is part of me. It's not I am part of Brahman, the source, basically. It's very clearly mentioned in this verse of last part of chapter 14. Very important. And having attained, one who has become free from all this contamination of the modes, one is qualified to engage in devotional service to Krishna. That is gist of chapter 14. Chapter 15 begins with the yoga of, it's titled the Yoga of the Supreme Person. And it begins with Krishna describing the material world by comparing it to a banyan tree. The various parts of the trees are compared, like the roots, branches, twigs, leaves, etc., compared to the fruitive activity, the piety, impiety, the senses, the results of fruitive activities, and different planetary systems, and so forth. By performing fruitive activities which are based on desire for sense gratification, the entangled conditioned soul is forced to wander from one branch to another branch of the tree, which is compared to taking birth from living one body, taking birth in another body, and also at the same time it can be a different planets also. So taking birth again and again, in this material world. So Krishna then declares that one who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. And one who knows this tree can also understand how to come out of this, what is entangling me, what is keeping me bounded here in this material world. So the purpose of the Vedic knowledge is to understand this, how to extricate ourselves from this entangling material world. That is the purpose of Vedic knowledge. And then Krishna, of course, tells it's through the weapon of detachment one must cut down this banyan tree with determination. And then Krishna goes on to describe the process, the surrendering process, and also gives a brief description of the spiritual world. And then he concludes the chapter by declaring that knowledge of him and rendering service to him is the essence of Vedic scriptures, and such understanding leads to wisdom and perfection. Chapter 16 is titled The Divine and the Demoniac Natures. In this chapter, Krishna is comparing two kinds of qualities. One is and who possesses them. There are two kinds of people basically he's talking of: the divine or transcendental Devic qualities, one who has Devic transcendental qualities or divine qualities and are in mode of goodness, which is conducive to make spiritual progress. And the second type of people are the demoniac or asuric, having asuric qualities, who are mostly in mode of passion and ignorance, which are these qualities can be they're detrimental to spiritual progress. They lead to lower birth and further material bondage. So first, Krishna is describing the 23 transcendental qualities that are auspicious for progress on path of liberation from this material world. Then Krishna gives Arjuna a synopsis of qualities of the demoniac people: arrogance, pride, conceit, anger, harshness, ignorance. All these qualities are for the demoniac, related with the demoniac people. So Krishna states that the transcendental qualities lead to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities lead to bondage. And he assures Arjuna, don't worry, you are born with transcendental qualities. And therefore he is encouraging Arjuna that your involvement in fighting here on the battlefield is not considered to be a demonic quality, or you're not acting under the influence of anger or false prestige or harshness. Basically, you're born of transcendental qualities. So Krishna then gives a graphic description of the demoniac nature, especially the atheist, the materialist and the atheist who violate the scriptural injunctions which are there to guide the humans both socially and spiritually. And what is the destination of such demoniac persons is that they take birth in lower species of life. They sink down to the most abominable position of existence, where Krishna uses the word perpetually, means they can never or approach Krishna. Never here means it takes a long time to come back to even be favorable to Krishna. So it's a very long time. So Krishna concludes, he of course gives the three gates leading down to hell, which is lust, anger, and greed. And by escaping these three, one can elevate one's consciousness and attain to the supreme destination. Krishna also concludes this chapter by saying that one who lives without following the scriptures will not attain perfection or happiness, whereas one who follows the Vedic scriptures and regulations and guides his life according to the scriptures gradually is elevated to spiritual perfection. So it highlights the difference between the divine and the demoniac personalities. Basically, the dividing part is they follow and abide by the scriptures. And then in chapter 17, the title is The Divisions of Faith. after hearing from Krishna about this distinction, between the divine and the demoniac people, Arjuna wants to know, as we may be inquisitive also, right? What about people who worship God or worship something, but it's not based on scriptures. It's without reference to scriptures. Who they have faith, but they are lacking scriptural basis. What is their destination? So Krishna mentions that faith is not that faith which is not guided by scriptures, another product of three modes of material nature. So in this chapter, chapter 17 describes how a person's affiliation to a particular mode will determine the type of faith they have. One who associates with more or less who is in the mode of goodness, of course, there is always a competition between the three modes to take charge, to overpower each other. The modes are trying to conflict or take over. So, but one who is predominantly in the mode of say mode of goodness, if they do a particular activity, what are their symptoms and what do they do, how they do it. So there are three types of faith corresponding to the three modes of material nature, like actions or acts performed by those whose faith is in passion and ignorance. They only yield impermanent material results, whereas acts performed in goodness, in accordance to the scriptural injunctions, it purifies our heart and lead to pure faith in the Lord and devotion towards Him. So that is chapter 17. And chapter 18 is a summary. The title of the chapter 18 is The Perfection of Renunciation. It's basically a summary it summarizes the entire subject matter of all the 17 chapters so far. Krishna explains the meaning of renunciation, the effects of the modes of material nature on human consciousness, activity. Krishna talks about the system of varnashram. He explains Brahman realization. And of course, finally, he explains the glories of Bhagavad Gita. And he ultimately gives the conclusion of the Gita. The highest path of religion is absolute, unconditional, loving surrender to Him. And that will free one from all sins. Krishna says, don't worry, I'll take care of all your sins. Do not fear. So bringing one to complete enlightenment, and it enables one to return back to the eternal abode of Krishna. Krishna gives, of course, at the end we see he has talked everything. He has talked about karma yoga, astanga yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga throughout the Bhagavad Gita. He has given different options. Of course, he is emphasizing throughout Bhagavad Gita bhakti yoga, but he leaves which path Arjuna should select and follow up to Arjuna only. He doesn't. He says, "I leave it up to you. Now I have given you everything." Arjuna expresses his gratitude to Krishna at the end of Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 18 and tells Krishna that he is now fixed, his doubts are all gone, he is determined to act according to Krishna's instructions, according to the way Krishna wants him to act. He understands completely, and which is the path of Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna also has given the blessings to the speaker, to the hearer of Bhagavad Gita, that those who study Bhagavad Gita are using their intelligence in his service, and those who follow the instructions and of Bhagavad Gita and share this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with others are very, very dear to him. So that is the blessings we all have received by chanting, hearing, reciting the verses of Bhagavad Gita today. Thank you very much. This is the short summary.
Thank you very much, Mataji. That was a really excellent summary, and you concluded the Bhagavad Gita very well. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to thank all the devotees for signing up today, reciting the verses and reading the translation. I know it can be nerve-wracking, but all of you all did excellent. Thank you very much for that. And also thank you all the devotees for joining for the Gita Jayanti today. We will finally have a thank you note from Satyasara Prabhu. One announcement. The quiz contest is up on our website. Please take up the quiz. It's Bhagavad Gita quiz, and it'll be a good quiz to see how much have you all heard in the classes. So it's a good test. Looking forward for everyone to take it up, and we'll announce the results at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you everyone very much. Satyasara Prabhu.
Thank you, Veena Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees. It was such a divine experience reciting the whole Gita in the association of devotees, and so I had a amazing divine experience. So I would like to thank all the kids first, and Matajis and Prabhus who participated in the recitation on this such a auspicious day of Gita Jayanti and also Vaikunta Ekadasi. And of course Christmas as well. We say Krishnamas. So amazing. So thank you everyone for that. Also, I want to thank everyone who listened to this Gita Parayana as well, because the person who reads Bhagavad Gita and also the person who hears the recitation, they both get the same spiritual benefits according to the scriptures. So Lord Shiva tells Parvati Devi in Gita Mahatmya, it's a very famous text, that if one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely with all seriousness, then by the grace of Lord Krishna, all the sinful reactions of our past misdeeds will be completely wiped out. This is told by Lord Shiva to Parvati Devi. So Gita Parayana is such a wonderful, powerful devotional service. So thank you again for doing this service, and I'm pretty sure our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, must be very pleased with all of your service. Next, I wanted to sincerely thank our dear Veena Mataji for nicely coordinating this program end to end, and she spent many hours working with all the devotees in planning, scheduling, and doing all the arrangements needed in making this auspicious event go seamlessly. So, and Mataji, thank you very much, for your selfless service. Also, special thanks to her for launching the quiz contest. That was her original idea. She came to me with, and she worked with Umesh Prabhu, Neha Mataji, and got it done. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Kalyan Prabhu, Veena Mataji's husband, and Ashmita, her daughter. Both of them helped Veena Mataji with overall, event planning and scheduling, and of course execution as well. So thank you, Kalyan Prabhu and Ashmita. I also want to thank our dear Umesh Prabhu and Neha Mataji. Without them, it will be tough for us to do any festival, temple. And so they worked, very tirelessly in creating the quiz feature on our temple website for the pleasure of devotees. And that's a great service. They spent many hours implementing this feature and got it ready in time for the program. So wonderful service, Umesh Prabhu and Neha Mataji. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Shikha Mataji and Kannan Prabhu, our wonderful MCs. They did a fantastic job today, and very seamlessly they have done it. And without them, the event would not have been very successful. So thank you, Shikha Mataji and Kannan Prabhu. And of course, our dear Damodar Prabhu for taking care of the live telecast and the Zoom logistics, and so nicely. So thank you, Prabhu, for that. So with that, we conclude here our program. I'll see you all on Sunday. So again, thank you everyone for joining. Gita Jayanti Mahotsav ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaurav Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Looks like everybody is ready for next round of recitation. Thank you very much, Prabhu, Mataji, and Karthik, Kanyana.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Mataji.